Alright, so now we're going to be talking about the picker. So picker, if you come from the HTML world, is going to be like the select, the select with the options. This is pretty much the same idea. First, we need a component, so I'm going to create a new folder. It's going to be picker, and inside, a file with the same name, picker.js. I'm going to copy the imports right here at the top, and I'm going to delete the scroll view. We don't need it. And then, of course, we need to create a class, and you're going to see in a minute why we will create a class. So picker component, let me make a capital C, makes a little bit more sense. Picker component and extends, and then components. Right, so open and close, we need a renderer, and then of course we need a return, and what I will be returning is just a text with picker, right? Okay, so we need to export default, and then the name of the component, which is picker component. So this is ready to be included. So I'm gonna go to app. Of course, we need to import it. So I'm gonna say import picker and then components from ./src/ and then picker / and picker. Very good. So I'll make it right. So now, I have a lot of things right here. So I'm gonna copy the component. I'm gonna go and just comment out the input, so we can have a much more clean view, right? So then I'm going to say picker component, and if I reload the application, we should be getting picker, so that is good. So the first thing is going to be to include the picker, to use it. So we're going to say picker, right? So now I'm going to go right here, and to start the picker, we're going to say picker, open and close. Now this is like the select, this is the, instead of picker would be select, and inside of here we're gonna have, the options. But for the picker, we cannot use options. This is something else. What we need to do, we need to make a reference to picker again and say dot and then item. And that's it, that's all. Now I'm gonna make a style right here because when it starts, it's gonna be really small. So I'm gonna make it a width of 100%. So it's going to be width 100%. Now, each item, which is going to be equal to option if on the HTML world, needs two things. Needs a label, just like this, and the label is going to be what is going to be shown on screen, as an option. So in this case, I'm going to say Spanish, and I'm going to start with a capital C, Spanish. And the second thing it's going to need is the value. So this works exactly like select and options. And it's going to be a lowercase. Now, I want at least two options, and this one is going to be English, and again, same thing, English. Right, so I'm going to save it, I'm going to reload the application, and make it a mistake, it's width, there we go. So let me reload the application again. Okay, and we get it, this is kind of a select. So it looks nice, it looks very nice. And of course, inside Android, it will look a little bit different because this is a native element. So this one looks like a select, right? So what is going on? I'm going to select this. I'm going to open it, select English, and it's not changing. It's like changing and then changing back. And same thing right here. If I say English, it's going back to the original position. So by default, the picker needs to know which element you are selecting. And for this, we need to handle this, in a controlled way. So we need to set a state with the value we are changing, and we need to tell the picker which one is the selected value. So I'm going to say selected value, and this is not something that I'm making up. I'm making this up. It's a prop by default we have with the picker. So this one is going to be equal to the value we're selecting. So from the start, I'm going to say that this one is equal to this, that state, that language. Just like this. And we don't have a state, I'm going to create a state. So it's going to be state, open and close, and this one is going to be language. Let me make it right, language. So there we go. So right here, the state could be nothing, right? Could be not selected. But by default, we kind of need to select something because there are no empty values. It's going to go to the first one by default. But if I copy the English one, and I put it right here, the application will start and it's going to say, okay, which one is the selected value? Oh, English. And since we have an item with the same value, it's going to go, and by default, it's going to go to English. So when I reload the application, it's going to go to English, right? Kind of makes sense. Right, so what happens if we want to, if I try to change it, I'm going back to English because we are not passing a function to tell the application that we need to update the state with a new value. So when we update the state with new value and this gets updated, the picker will change by itself, of course. So the function, the prop we have for this is called onValueChange. A little bit weird, but that's what it's called. So for this one, we have pretty much two arguments. It's going to be just a function, just like this. And this one is going to receive the item value and the item index. So I'm going to say item value, which is going to be the actual value, and then the item index. That's the information we get with this onValueChange. So the item index, of course, is going to be the position, which picker, is it 0 or is it 1? So in this case, the only thing I need to use is the item value because we are using the value to change, which one is selected. So right here, I'm going to say that set state, open and close, and I'm going to say that I want to change the language, and the value for this one is going to be whatever, the option that is selected. So I'm going to say item value. So whenever I make a change, item value is going to be equal to whatever I am selecting. And then we just set the state and the application will, reset and re-render and change it. So if I change to Spanish, it's going to change. If I change back to English, it's going to change. Same thing on Android. Works the same way. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to change to English. It was already in English. So I'm going to go to Spanish. If I go to Spanish, it stays on Spanish. And of course, everything is stored inside the state. So, it's a really simple thing to use. It's just like a select. Now, for example, if you wanted to get the date of birth of a user, so you will need to do pretty much 3 pickers, one for the day, one for the month, and one for the year. Sorry for that, but you will need to do that. That works just like HTML. You need to do 3 different components.